Hello friends, in this video we will go through flame photometry and some related MCQs. So this is the generalized instrument for flame photometry. In this flame photometer there used to be a fuel source. Along with that the oxidant is provided, and when it reaches inside the flame, there is a vaporization of the solvent followed by some energy changes are observed by the molecules. So we will see the principle step by step. So first of all, the liquid sample containing elements which we need to analyze is aspirated into a flame, and inside the flame there is now formation of the liquid droplets. Now what will happen, the solvent is going to be vaporized because of the thermal energy provided by the flame, and there will be the residue will be left behind. Now this residue will further decomposed into neutral atoms, and these neutral atoms, they will absorb the energy, and they will be going from ground state to the excited state at the higher energy state, where this excited state is not stable and the atoms try to go back into the stable state. So during this process they are going to emit the energy which they have absorbed in the form of radiation, and these emitted radiations are being measured by flame photometry, and the wavelength as well as intensity of emitted radiations is used to perform qualitative as well as quantitative analysis of the sample. It helps to give us information about the type of elements, as well as the intensity and color of the flame helps to find out the amount of elements which are present in the sample. So this is the general principle for flame photometry. Now we will see the MCQs one by one. So the first question is, which of the following is the principle of flame emission photometers? Yes, the first option is radiation is absorbed by non-excited atoms in vapor state and are excited to higher state. So option number 2 is medium absorbs radiation and transmitted radiation is measured. Option number 3 is color and wavelength of the flame is measured. And option number 4 is only wavelength of the flame is measured. Yes, and so among these, the color and wavelength of the flame is measured. That is the correct option. As we have seen in the principle, it helps us in both understanding what type of element is present, that is qualitative purpose, as well as intensity or the color help us to identify the quantitative analysis of the sample. Then the next question is, which of the following is not an advantage of laminar flow burner used in flame photometry? So they are some advantages are given here. So if we will look after what is burner, so these burners are used in flame photometry to spray the sample solution into the form of fine droplet along with fuel and oxidant, so that we will be able to get a homogeneous flame of stable intensity. And some burners which are routinely used are Meckel burner, total consumption burner, and laminar flow burner. Among these, the laminar flow burner is noiseless. It helps us to give stable flame for analysis, as well as it helps in efficient automation of sample. But the disadvantage with it is that the sample containing two or more solvents cannot be burned efficiently with the help of this laminar flow burner. Then our second question is, which of the following is not a detector used in flame emission photometers? So in flame photometer, the emitted radiations are generally from the visible region. So that's why we use the conventional detectors like photonic cell, photovoltaic cell, photoemissive tubes. So these are routinely used in photoemission photometers, while in this case, chromatograph is an odd one out. It is not used as a detector in flame emission photometers. Next question is about the fuels. So if we are using propane and air in combination, so how many degree temperature we will be able to produce? So this is the chart for various fuels and the presence of air and oxygen along with it. So propane help us to achieve 21 degree centigrade temperature. It is a memory based question. Then similarly, if we are using hydrogen and air in the burner, so how many degree temperature can be produced? So we The answer is 1900 degrees centigrade can be produced with the use of hydrogen and air. Then the next question is about application of flame photometry. So which is not the application of flame photometry? So if you will see here, the first option is to estimate sodium, magnesium and cadmium, calcium. So that is the right one. We can use it for flame photometry. The next is assay of metformin. So this is doubtful because for assay of metformin, we use the UV visible spectrometric methods are used for its assay. It is used to determine magnesium and calcium in cement, that is the application of flame photometry, and to detect metallic ions in samples. So that is also an application of flame photometry. So the odd one is assay of metformin. So flame photometry cannot be used for it is not generally used for assay of metformin. Then the next one is Boltzmann equation. So which one is the correct Boltzmann equation? So first of all, we will see what is Boltzmann equation. So it helps to govern the fraction of free atom that are thermally excited. And in this equation, n star is the number of excited atoms, n is the number of remaining atoms in the ground state, delta E is the difference in energy levels from ground state to excited state, and K is the Boltzmann constant and T is temperature. So the correct equation is option number 3. Then the next question is we have to identify the correct sequence of flame photometry. So this is about the steps which are involved in the procedure. So first of all, as we have seen just now in the principle, we take the sample and we put it in the flame, and due to the thermal energy, the sample molecules, they get converted into the form of residue while the solvent gets evaporated, and those residues further decomposed, and they get dissociated in the form of atoms, and they absorb the energy, the thermal energy, and they move from ground state to excited state. Then this is not a stable state, so they return back to the ground state, and during this process they emit the photons. So the option number 1, that is the sample residue, then excited state atoms, then they return in ground state, followed by emission of radiation. That is the correct sequence of flame photometry. Then the next one is which equations are used to determine wavelength of radiation. So in this case, the correct option is lambda, and we will see what are its meaning. So lambda is the wavelength of emitted radiation, h is Planck constant, c is the velocity of light, E2 and E1, these are the energy levels. E2 is for excited and E1 is for the ground state. So option number A is the right equation. Then again the next question is about application of flame photometry. So flame photometry can be used for, as we have seen, for various ions, for various elements it is used. But its application for determination of functional group, it is a limitation with it. Identification or study of the chemical structure is not possible with flame photometry. Assay of drugs cannot be performed. So it is basically to identify the presence and quantity of certain atoms or elements in the sample. So the fourth option, that is to estimate metallic ions like sodium, potassium, that is the correct answer for this application of flame photometry. The others are not possible with flame photometry. So thank you for watching the video. Do like, subscribe and share the channel.